A lot of people like to criticize Bluestar's life decisions, and honestly, they are pretty questionable. Whether it's seeking love with Oakheart in RiverClan while the perfect Thrushpelt was sitting in ThunderClan, or giving up kits to fulfill her ambition to lead ThunderClan. However, I personally see Bluestar's life decisions as a bit more complicated than that. By the way, this video was recommended by DakiCat for winning the Gray Stripe art contest that I had on Warriors Amino. And speaking of Amino, this video is sponsored by Amino. Amino is an app that has several communities surrounding your many interests and fandoms, including Warriors. You can chat, share art, roleplay, and more, all with fans of these books. I use the app all the time. In fact, I'm holding a challenge there right now. It's drawing warrior cats literally. For example, here is my drawing of Spiderleg with actual spider legs. My favorite submissions will be shown in a Warrior Cats challenge video on this channel. And if you're number 1, you can request a video for me to make just like DakiCat did for this video. Be sure to submit your art before February 20th. Anyways, to get to this challenge, you need to click the link in the description or pinned comment to download the free Amino app for iOS or Android. Or you can just search Amino on your app store. Once you're in the Amino app, you can search for Warriors, and once you join the Warriors community, find the place that says All Members and search for Bright Guardian Akira. I look forward to seeing you there. Bluestar and Oakheart, one of the original forbidden romance stories created to parallel Graystripe and Silverstream. Yet, this forbidden romance is easily one of the least developed, with only a couple interactions between the two cats before a single night meeting that led to kits. The result? Well, let's just say that people don't ship Bluestar and Oakheart very often. Instead, people look to Thrushpelt, the original Bumblestripe. Except, Thrushpelt is nice and patient. When Dovewing's interest in Bumblestripe faded, Bumblestripe just got super desperate, and when Bumblestripe found out that Dovewing had Tigerstar's kits, he just got bitter. Meanwhile, Thrushpelt is more embarrassed and gentle with his love towards Bluefur, and he actually feels compassion when he learns that she has kits with another cat. In his relationship with Bluefur, he actually cares more about the relationship than he does about kits. Yet, Bluefur never loved Thrushpelt. She never even pretended that she did. But he was still there for her when she needed him. Thrushpelt is just a genuinely nice dude. So, why did Bluestar choose Oakheart? Well, Bluestar didn't really choose Oakheart. I'll explain more later. Let's take Oakheart out of the picture for a second. There's a big reason why Bluestar refused Thrushpelt's love. She didn't want kits. That's way too much commitment. It would distract her from her goal of becoming ThunderClan's leader. Bluefur never wanted a mate in kits, not with Thrushpelt and not with Oakheart. When Bluefur became mates with Oakheart over Thrushpelt, she was never recognizing Oakheart as a more suitable partner. It just so happened that in the action of her rejecting both mate choices, she fell short of overcoming the temptation she felt around Oakheart. To use Bluestar's thoughts to explain this, she simply felt more excitement around Oakheart. Now, we could just say, haha, Bluefur only likes Oakheart because he's super hot. But I believe that Bluefur's attraction to Oakheart is a bit more complicated than that. Bluefur lived a life of loss, mainly her sister and her mother. To add to this, she has to suffer quite a bit of emotional abuse from Thistleclaw, and she spends so much time worrying about his potential to destroy ThunderClan if he is to be given any amount of power. There are several points in the book in which she recognizes that the only thing keeping her going is her role in ThunderClan. Specifically, her role in becoming deputy so Thistleclaw can't. She can't afford to be a mother because the time and effort that goes into raising kits would get in her way. She had no room in her life for a relationship with Thrushpelt, and honestly, it's pretty easy for her to reject him. Thrushpelt was already a warrior when Bluefur was born, so they really didn't grow up together. I just don't think they have chemistry. When it comes to ThunderClan cats, I actually think that Rosetail is Bluefur's best companion outside of her family members, as she did grow up alongside Bluefur. Of course, when Bluefur got together with Oakheart, it was a bit harder for her to hold on to her mindset that she never wanted kids. So, what made Oakheart different? Well, it's just the fact that Bluefur didn't properly understand him. It's easy for her to reject Thrushpelt because she knew him her entire life, but Oakheart ended up being more of a mystery that left her intrigued. With Thrushpelt, Bluefur could more easily rationalize her rejection of him. Maybe she thought Thrushpelt was too clingy and desperate, or maybe she thought he was too boring and compliant. However, Bluefur could not do the same with Oakheart. She didn't know this cat. All she saw was the super brave and confident Tom known for being one of RiverClan's best warriors. Her perception of him was built more superficially. She was able to fall in love with the way he presented himself, his good looks, and his charisma. Bluefur never wanted a mate, and she spent her entire life convincing herself that the cats in ThunderClan would not make suitable partners. Oakheart caught her off guard. Bluefur made herself so unfamiliar to love that once she started feeling things for Oakheart, she couldn't resist taking his offer to meet with him at Four Trees that one life-changing night. After that night, Bluefur finally managed to beat her temptation and carry on with her plan to be deputy. However, this night was not easily forgotten because this night would be the night that gave her kids. This is where Thrushpelt comes back into focus. At the time, every cat in ThunderClan, especially Rosetail, had become well aware of Thrushpelt's crush on Bluefur. So, when it becomes obvious that Bluefur is pregnant, Rosetail gets the rumor going that Thrushpelt is the father. Just to be clear, Rosetail is the sweetest cat ever. When she approached Bluefur regarding her thoughts, Bluefur didn't really deny it. Rosetail only spilled this false assumption around because she was getting genuinely happy for her friend. Anyways, this rumor reaches Thrushpelt, and Thrushpelt obviously knows that the kits aren't his. But instead of getting frustrated or sad, he reaches out with his support, saying that he is okay with letting ThunderClan believe that he is the father. Bluefur does decide against telling cats this, but she never denies Thrushpelt's involvement in her kits. So every cat in ThunderClan fully believes Thrushpelt is the father, and Thrushpelt assumes that role perfectly. He loves her kits as though they were his own. Then comes Bluefur's big decision. A new deputy for ThunderClan was going to be chosen within the next moon, and this deputy was almost certain to be Sunstar's successor as leader of ThunderClan. Thistleclaw really thought he was going to become that deputy, and Bluefur had absolutely every reason to believe that Thistleclaw would destroy ThunderClan with his aggressive behavior. Thistleclaw even outright says at one point that he wants to line the RiverClan border with the blood of the enemy. So yeah, there's definitely reason to be worried. Bluefur knows that she is the one cat in the clan who would be chosen above any other. Sunstar was her mentor, and he has let Bluefur know that he was considering the deputy position for her. But Bluefur can't be chosen for deputy if she's still raising kids. In this desperate attempt to save ThunderClan, Bluefur sends her kids over to Oakheart and RiverClan, who is more than willing to accept them. In this process, Mosskit unfortunately dies due to cold weather. Bluefur's sacrifice ends up having the planned outcome. She becomes deputy and later leader of ThunderClan. However, Sunstar reveals to her that he was never planning on choosing Thistleclaw for deputy at all. It seems like her sacrifice was a waste in some ways, and a simple talk would have had the same effect. Bluefur could have even potentially negotiated Sunstar choosing a senior warrior for deputy who could retire to the Elder's Den when Bluefur was done raising her kids. Instead, Bluefur made a massive sacrifice, not only because of the loss of Mosskit and the grief she caused herself, but also the grief she caused her clan. While Thrushpelt and Rosetail were not Bluefur's kin, they were still massively excited for Bluefur to have kits. Bluefur ended up lying about the 3 kits being eaten by a fox, and that's sort of crushing to hear. Bluefur took her largest problem and solved it in such a destructive and desperate way. In my opinion, that was her biggest mistake. Thistleclaw's abuse affected her so deeply that she couldn't think clearly, and she was hyper-focused on thinking she was the only cat who could save ThunderClan by becoming leader. Bluefur ended up missing out on pursuing friendships with 2 of the nicest cats in the entire series, Thrushpelt and Rosetail. She shut herself out from relationships in ThunderClan, and she was only able to find comfort in her overly idealistic perspective of Oakheart. She was so lost in her destiny and in Goosefeather's prophecy, she was never able to focus on her happiness. Bluestar lived her life with great honor and sacrifice, but in the end, she could have been a little smarter.